Frederika is already a very strong unit in War of the Visions, which means she's only going to get stronger with this EX job enhancement, and it also means that she's going to be relevant in the meta for a while yet. Now if only she could be a little more relevant in her darling Engelbert's eyes. Thank you to warofthevisionscalc.com for the information in this video. Please consider supporting them on Patreon. Now, if you're going to be going for EX job units, you have to understand there are some materials that you're going to need. The most demanding of them will be the Blossoms of Paradise. Make sure that you are portioning those appropriately, or you're going to be stuck with halfway units. With Frederika, we're going to look at her stats and her kit. Her stats at level 99 were pretty nice. She had some very, very high agility, including high base agility, which means she got some good buffs whenever agility buffs were given to her. She also had a decent attack, considering that guns give a really high amount of attack, and there's lots of ways to raise her missile attack. It all added up to a lot of pain. When you go to 120, those stats will get even higher, some more HP, lots more attack, and then a ton of dexterity, no agility. Now, when Frederika goes into job level 19, she's going to get a new upgrade to Vital Shot, which will now allow it to break barriers before damage. This is pretty cool. However, Vital Shot is a 0 height skill, which means that Frederika needs to be on the same height as her target. This could definitely be map dependent, and if you have a unit in the way, you won't be able to shoot the target as you intend. At job level 22, Concentrate is going to give 40 missile resist penetration. What? This is insane. This is a really, really huge buff for Frederika. The fact that it's not defense penetration, it's missile resist penetration, I like that a lot. And the fact that it's on a passive, that's the best type of penetration that we can get, because you don't have to do a thing besides equip the passive. I love this. It's absolutely huge for her. Then at job level 25, there is a new skill called Piercing Shot. And luckily this is a range 1 height, which means that you can shoot up or down just a little bit. Unfortunately, it's not a range 2 height, so it is still a limiting skill. This skill is pretty interesting because it increases your defense penetration for self for 3 turns, and now I forgot the percentage on here, so maybe I'll have to put it on screen during the editing process. I think it's about 30%. Either way, it's a good defense penetration. Now the problem here is that you have to use this shot in order to get the defense penetration, and again, that's very tricky. One of the ways that Frederika excels is as a ranger, because those shots are able to shoot a far amount of distance, especially if you're higher up than other people. If you're far back and on different heights than your opponents, then you will have a harder time shooting them with these skills. So to be able to set up this piercing shot, I don't know how reliable that's going to be, but it doesn't matter because Frederika is already such a good unit. If Frederika had no EX job abilities and just got a stat boost, she would already be such a better unit, because that's all she really needs. Her kit is already very good, but instead she got some really cool utility with the defense penetration and barrier breaking, and then the most important thing, the missile resist penetration. Next, we'll take a look at some stats for Frederika. The difference column is going to show you the difference between level 115 and level 120. Now, for HP, there is not a huge difference, and the same can be said for attack. And the 40% buff, this is if she was going to be buffed by somebody like Titus. It's not going to be a huge amount. The reason I'm highlighting this is to show how much of Frederika's attack is on her board. Her base attack is really low. It means she doesn't get a lot of attack from any sort of attack buff, but the main way that Frederika boosts her attack is from missile attack buffs, and then from her weapons and stuff. She gets plenty from there. That's why she does lots of damage. Her agility doesn't increase either, and neither does her dexterity and her luck. So really, the question is, do you want that defense penetration shot? And if the answer is no, then you can save yourself some blossoms by just going to 115. You're really not missing out on stats. You could even try her out at 115, see how it's going, and then leave her there, or go for the full way to get that defense penetration shot. If you're finding that your friends are using Frederika and they're not able to use that shot because she's using Sharpshoot and Barrage instead, well, then maybe you don't need to go to 120. We'll also do some comparisons while we're here. The first one is 120 Victora, and this is a unit that we don't have upgraded yet, but we will get in the future. Now you can see that that Victora has less attack than Frederika, but I do want to mention that Victora has a ridiculous amount of defense penetration, and that is a huge damage boost for her. And then otherwise, Frederika's got her beat in agility, got her beat in dexterity, and in just like, you know, the pure attack, the crit rate, all this stuff that Victora doesn't have. Now, Victora has a ton of utility as a sniper and as a paladin that you have to account for as well, but it's definitely shows you how good Frederika looks. Now, I also wanted to make a point, and of course I'm going to choose King Elda, that Frederika does have lower attack than other units, and you can see that right here, that these big EX attackers have, you know, over 100 more attack than Frederika. But again, that's not the end of the world, because the guns like Ras Al Ghathi give so much attacks that the amount of missile attack that Frederika will stack from various sources and various things that she's, you know, cards and lightning attack and all this stuff, it all adds up, and she does lots of damage. You don't have to worry about that. So if you're just looking at stats, they're a little bit misleading. So should you EX Frederika? That's a great question, and I think the answer is yes. Pretty much all of us should do it if you have the resources available, if you have the unit, etc. I just really don't think there's a reason not to do it. She's such a good unit in every content, and I think that your account will just become better for having done it. Now, can you go to just 115? I definitely think you can, and we just have to see how good that 120 shot is, or sorry, that level 25 shot is. And if it is good, well, then maybe we can go the rest of the way. Now, for the next wave, and I didn't do this in my other videos, and I apologize, we're expecting our Mastery, Ramada, and Mish, and then the FF1 collab will get rerun. Now, of course, we have no idea if this is going to happen or not, because we've had so many change-ups in the last little while, but if this sticks to the JP schedule, then this is what we can expect. So that's going to be it for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. We'll see you on the Discord, in the comments, and we'll see you next time.